I'm going to ask someone to come on the stage and to tell you a story about how a in-person Coherence Healing changed a person's life.
I came a little over 2 months ago to the Dallas retreat with my son. So I'll give you a little context. My son's name is Eli. He's 7 now. And when he was 6, he was diagnosed with autism and severe developmental and learning disabilities. He took the STAR test in the US. We were living in Florida, and he was in the 1% of kids that didn't understand anything about math or English. And after that, so in parallel, he was obviously, like many autistic kids, bullied at school. He was also quite violent with me and my other son. He gave him a concussion by hitting him with a plastic toy. And this is just a peek into our life. But then we went back to Canada. We're Canadian. And he started having seizures. So we went to the hospital several times after the seizures. It's visually very shocking and emotionally very intense too. And he was diagnosed with epilepsy. So at that point, I was really worried for him. So I pulled all the strings I could. I reached out to specialists who really work only on epilepsy. It's their job. They do that all day, to find out whether there was a treatment that was at least, being studied or any hope there. And they told me, look, we have no idea. We have no clue. We don't know where it comes from. We don't know how to heal it. The only thing we can do is manage the symptoms by giving him anticonvulsants. So for the people here who have kids, I would go to bed with him, and he typically had seizures at the time of waking up, so right between sleeping and being awake. And so the doctors, the neurologists told me, there's a risk that he dies during a seizure. And on that year, I had met a mother who had lost a son to epilepsy. So I was very, very scared, very stressed, and I would go to sleep with him, holding his hand, praying that he would not die. So, once I had done my research, which is actually the day I got the diagnostic, I decided that I was going to find something.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yes.
Would you just tell them how often he had seizures?
So he had 4 seizures. 4 seizures in 6 months. Very dramatic, very shocking, like convulsing, vomiting, the eyes white like this, shaking a lot. My other son was all over the place. We called 911. And it's an experience for a parent, to see a loved one, your child. It's really extreme stress. And you don't know whether he's gonna make it, and then he passes out. So you talk to him, you hold his hand, he doesn't come back. So it's very, very scary. And after the seizure, we go to the hospital. He spends the day at in the emergency room, and it takes him hours to come back to who he is. And then he acts in a weird manner. He loses memory. His cognitive functions are altered. So it's, you don't want that for your kid, and you don't want to hear that there's nothing that can be done. So when I got the diagnostic, I decided to sign up for the retreat, thinking, the worst thing that can happen is I meditate for a week and nothing happens. So it's, at this stage, the alternative is there's none. And so I signed up and I filled out the medical form as if I was my son. And in the notes, I said, this is not me. I don't have epilepsy or autism. It's my son. So I was contacted by your medical team. They talked to me, and a week before the event, the medical team, this nice lady calls me and says, you can bring your son for the Coherence Healing. I had no idea what Coherence Healing was. And I was kind of caught off guard after school, and we live in Canada, and I'm actually quite rude with this nice lady, and I say, look, I live in another country, this is way too complicated to organize, what do you think? Boom. And I'm like super rude. And then I was mad, and I go home, I take care of my kids, I go to sleep, I wake up, I'm like, seriously? The only reason why I'm going to this is to heal my son. I'm offered this opportunity, which I had no idea would come to me, because he's 7, so I thought he could not, do the retreat. And I said no, so I feel terribly ashamed, and I perceive myself from outside, how rude I had been to this nice person. The opportunity for my son, I feel guilty. I'm like, okay, well, do this, So I text the lady, I'm like, I'm sorry, is it still possible? She's super nice, she's like, yeah, of course. So I call a nanny, I buy the flight, and we come. So he came I think on Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he did the Coherence Healing together with 7 other kids who had, similar conditions. So you gotta imagine, this is an autistic little boy. He doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to do it, and I have to bribe him to come. Say, you're going to have a surprise, you're going to have a present. And I give him his iPad, and he plays the iPad, and during the healing, he looks at the healers and says, oh, this guy looks weird, I don't like him. And it's really, is not in the state or anything, So I lie down next to him, and I put my hands like this, and, we close our eyes, and the healing happens, and I feel something actually very strong. After the healing, he tells me, no one touches him, and after the healing, he tells me, Mommy, it hurt. And I see under his T-shirt, there are the shapes of like 2 bananas, like the red shapes, top of the lungs. He does the 3 healings, and right away his behavior changes completely. He's very calm. He's got empathy. His brother that he used to beat like terrible, I didn't tell you, but he welcomes him crying, asking him to never leave again. He wasn't able to write or read. Now he writes and reads. He wasn't able to speak French, which is my mother tongue. He spoke only English. He speaks French to me. A few weeks ago, I dropped him off at school, and he asked me on the way, Mommy, how do you say, Mommy, I love you in French? And I tell him. And so he walks to the school, and suddenly he turns back, he looks at me, and he tells me, Maman, je t'aime. So this is like, it's worth a lifetime of happiness. Yes, so now he's actually healed. He's got more emotional intelligence than the entire family combined. And he wants to be a doctor. He wants to be an inventor. He wants to be a billionaire and a soccer player. And I have no doubt he's going to make these things happen. And when someone is in pain physically, there's this healer that comes out of him. I don't know where it comes from, but he's a changed person. So anyone who has children with these types of challenges, it really works. That's it.
And tell them, has he had any seizures since? Has he had any seizures since?
Oh, yes, obviously. Most importantly, he hasn't had any seizures. The anticonvulsants, the way doctors stop them is after 2 years without seizures, they decrease the dose very gradually. So he used to take a pill and a half, and now I decided to give him just half a pill because it said that you should, lower the dose. No seizure at all, and yes, that's it.
Thank you so much.